Is this recording? I think it is. I hope it is. If it's not, then that sucks. But I guess it doesn't really matter, because nothing really matters. Okay. Welcome. My name is Will. Nice to meet you. That's Will. Pretty simple. This is my YouTube channel. I think I'm gonna call it Eternal Context, but I don't really know, and honestly, I don't think it really matters what I call it, because I think it doesn't matter what the name is. It really just matters the quality of the content, right? I think that's all that really matters. So I guess I'll start by saying that the quality of the content on this channel is going to be high. It's going to be very high. And the reason I say that, and I'm not saying it to be cocky, I'm not saying it to brag, I'm just being real with you. The reason I say that is because I'm just a real person, you know. I'm a high quality individual. You know, blame it on my genes, blame it on my life experience. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm just, you know, I'm a real dude. I've been through some things. You know, I've been through hard times. I've been through good times. I've seen many parts of the world. You know, I've been to Asia. I've been to Europe. I've been to Central America. I live in North America. I haven't been to South America yet. I haven't been to Africa. So I'm not the most interesting man in the world. But, you know, I'm only 22 years old. So I still have some places to go, places to explore, physical and mental and spiritual. But anyways, yeah. So the content on this channel is gonna be quality. It's gonna be high quality because I'm a high quality person. So everything that I do with my time is high quality, which is why I feel like it's like I could do good for the world by expressing myself. But I think it's gonna be a high quantity channel also, because I just feel the need to express myself at all times, and that means creating a lot of content. So I'm going to be creating a lot of content, which means that you will not witness all the content that I create. Of course, I will be there for all the content that I create because I'm creating it, so I'm living in the moment as I create it right now. But you will not be there for the content, for all the content. You will see some of my content, but you will not see all of it. So please don't get caught up in watching all my content, because you won't see it. You won't see all of it. And that is a point that I'm gonna continue to make, because it's a mistake that I've made trying to listen to one artist's full discography or watch one YouTube channel's entire video selection. It's a waste of time. You know, you want to diversify. So don't get obsessed with watching all my content. The reason that I'm posting a lot of content is because I know that whatever content you find on my channel is going to be high quality. Okay? So even if you watch 3 minutes of any of my videos, you are going to take something away from it. And that's why I'm posting a lot. And that's why I'm posting in the first place, because I believe I have good things to say, and I believe that I can continue to have good things to say over a long period of time, even if I have to repeat myself many times. So, anyway, with that said, I guess that's a cool intro, right? My first video. It's not even a video. This is really just an audio tape. But if you want to be along for this journey, then subscribe, I guess, right? I want to interact with people on a 1-to-1 basis, as well as a 1 to, X number basis. I want to interact with you as an individual, but also as a community. I want to build a community on the internet that doesn't mean that you have to, it's not like a cult. It doesn't mean that like this is the only community you can be part of, but just like a place on the internet where people can go to learn about themselves and learn about the world and just be inspired and be motivated. That's really what I'm trying to create. So I guess like, I don't know, I have no plans for this video, but I think it makes sense to talk about the name, right? If you're going to subscribe to a channel and it has some weird name, you should probably know why I called the channel the name I gave it. So, like I said, I think I'm going to call this channel Eternal Context. Eternal Context, right? So, let me explain this concept to you and why I chose this name. I guess I'll start by saying that maybe 2 years ago or so, I discovered what infinity actually means. Now, infinity was really just a concept for me. It was just a number. It was just the biggest number. Because I took calculus in high school, and I took physics, and I took chemistry, and in those classes they would talk about mathematics and infinity and stuff like that. And you know, when I was in those classes, I would think like, okay, so what is infinity? It's just the biggest number. But I didn't really get a grip of what infinity actually is. But now that I have had the chance to travel and have more life experience and grow, I've started to realize what infinity actually is. And what I've started to realize, and you could call this my spiritual journey, you could call this my spiritual enlightenment, you could call this my awakening, you know, you could even call this ego death. You know, there's a million different names for it. It doesn't really matter what you call it, as long as you understand what it means, because you've experienced it yourself. And if you don't know what it means and you haven't experienced it yourself, then you should still listen, because there's something very valuable being pointed at here. I wish that when I was younger I had someone telling me what ego death was, because then of course I'd just be farther along the journey. So if you don't understand what ego death is and spiritual enlightenment and awakening is, that is just another reason why you should dive deeper into the topic, because there is a gold mine at the end of this journey, at the end of the search. I promise you that. I'll put my life on that. But anyways, so when I discovered what infinity is, and also I just want to mention this, infinity and eternity are actually like, you know, they're basically synonyms. Infinity basically just means like infinite creation, right? And eternity basically means infinite time, which, you know, if you have infinite time, then over that time span, which is eternal, which is infinite, then everything would eventually be created, right? It's the whole idea of like, if you have monkeys jumping on pianos, eventually they'll compose all of Beethoven's discography, all of his works. So, anyways, so yes, as I started discovering what infinity is and what eternity is, I started to realize that in order to live the good life, in order to achieve eudaimonia, which is what the Greeks called the good life, I just really like that word. In order to achieve eudaimonia, in order to live the good life, it's necessary to always relate your life, always relate the circumstances of your life to infinity or to eternity. And if you do this, it always puts everything into context. When you relate your life to infinity and to eternity, when you realize that your life is just a small piece of something infinite, something infinitely bigger than you could ever imagine, your life is really ultimately, relatively, an infinitely small piece of something that's infinitely bigger, then what you're doing in that moment is you're putting your life into the context of infinity, into the context of eternity. And when you do that, from my experience, life just becomes so beautiful and so loving and so beautiful and so peaceful, and it's just, it's like centering. People always talk about, I need to center myself. When you relate your life to infinity, to me, that is the act of centering. You're putting your ego in its place. You're realizing that your ego and your physical identity and your name and whatever you attach to yourself is just an infinitely small piece. It's really nothing, because anything that's infinitely small is essentially nothing, right? And your ego related to something that's infinitely big, which is reality, is nothing. Your ego is nothing. That's why your ego doesn't technically exist. That's why death doesn't technically exist. That's why you as consciousness will never technically die. You'll just change forms. The formless is constantly morphing into different forms, which is why it's ultimately formless, because it never stays the same form. So, shit, I just went off. Yeah. What else is there to say? Subscribe. Follow all my social medias. I tend to come off as arrogant, but what I'm really doing is just, expressing my intelligence and my conscious ability. Of course, there'll always be haters, but I highly recommend that you subscribe and follow my internet presence, because I have a lot of good things to say, and all I really want to do is help you. That's all I really want to do. Because everything is one, right? By me perceiving you, I'm becoming you. You hear that? By me perceiving you, I'm becoming you. So by recognizing your existence, I'm recognizing myself. And that's why I want to help you, because by helping you, I help me. By helping you, I help me. And by you helping me, you help yourself. So yeah, just if this interests you in any way, keep updated with me. You won't regret it. I also probably shouldn't try to sell myself too hard, because then I come off as desperate. And I'm not really desperate. I'm just passionate. But I feel like some brilliant French philosopher would probably say that, being passionate is the same as being desperate. And that there's probably some truth to that too. Because when you're passionate about life, you're being passionate about something that ultimately won't last, right? Because nothing lasts forever. So, but at the same time, I don't see any other way to live, really. Why not be passionate? Why not love every fleeting moment, even though you know that it's not going to exist forever? At some point it's going to cease. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Maybe I'll make another video soon. I don't know. Bye. I love you.